Okay, without further ado, I'm going to bring on my really good friend. Do you know what? I don't just bring on anybody to my show, yeah. But I actually have to say, this lady, yeah, she don't play no games. Yes, she is a very good friend of mine. And I'm not just bigging her up just because she is my friend. She is good at what she does. Because I had some anxiety problems, yeah. And my friend said, do you know what? Let's get to the source, because when you go to the doctors just give you medication. They give you medication and it's not actually getting to the source. So I thought, okay, what have I got to lose? So I put my faith into the hands of my friend, and woe and behold, that day I felt so rejuvenated. I felt so good. And not only that, I referred a young lady. What is that? What is that? Why am I getting feedback? Why am I hearing my voice? Anyway, so as I was saying, I referred another lady to her who was actually suffering from depression. And this lady messaged me back and said, thank you. Thank you for referring Michelle to me. Now, that speaks volumes. That speaks volumes. Michelle!
Hey!
Listen, I've just given you a free advert here.
I know you have, and I'm very grateful.
Listen, Michelle, do you know what? I am not just saying this just because she's my friend and I've known her for, over 20 years? This is 20 years of friendship. But I'm not just saying that, yeah, just because she's my friend. I'm saying it because she is good at what she does. Listen, I had chest pains. I thought I was having a heart attack. I thought I was going to die. Yeah. And my friend, there was a particular issue that I was having. And anytime I thought about that issue, it was causing me great anxiety. And my friend helped me deal with it. Anyway, I'll let her tell you what she does. Michelle, give us some background information about yourself. Tell us a little bit about you, Michelle.
Okay, good morning, everybody, and thank you for inviting me here, Juliet.
Good morning.
I appreciate it. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed the first speaker that you had, Denisha. She was great. Mm-hmm. Just want to big her up because it is all about generational wealth, and I'm glad more young people now, especially in this country, are taking note and taking it on board because, as she said, we're not taught this in school. No. Our parents didn't really know about it. Mm-hmm. And that actually takes me to where I am now, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. So I've always been very ambitious, always doing things out of the box. Mm-hmm. So a friend of mine introduced me to a network marketing company. Now, I've always seen dollar signs. I'm always the one thinking about different ways to make money. How can I make money? And always trying to bring my friends in as well. So I got into the network marketing realm. From the network marketing realm, and it's mainly like the Americans, and then the Americans came over to the UK, and they're so full of fire and energy, bigging themselves up, showing you what they can do. That piqued my interest. From that, I got into internet marketing, and then I realized that there was actually more to life than the 9 to 5. Now, I'm a qualified social worker, so I've been doing the government work for 18 years or so. But I wasn't really getting much enjoyment out of it or any fulfillment, It was just like, you're just pen pushing, and I couldn't really be the person that I wanted to be. Now, I went into social work to help people. And a lot of social workers go into social work because they've had issues themselves, which they've overcome. They want to then help other people. And I saw my pathway into the marketing realm, trying to help other people make money. So I've always had that kind of thing in the back of my head. Anyway, it's not until 2017 when my mother passed away. There was loads of family dynamics. I was in a really bad way. I lost my identity. I didn't know who I was. And I knew that I needed to do something about it, but I didn't know what. And I thought I needed to do some inner work. There was an instinct in me that said you need to do some inner work. Now, I've always had an interest in astrology, crystals. I've always been kind of a bit woo-woo-y. So I've been different to I'm not like my friends. I'm different to my friends. I always do things that's really like outrageous and off the wall. So, but I'm not your typical woo-woo kind of gypsy kind of hippie type person. But I do believe in spiritual stuff and energy and crystals. So I knew that there was something inside of me that needed to come out. And then, until I could release whatever it was inside, I knew that I would always be stuck in this position. Now, the reason I say that, I've had many conversations with Juliet over the years. And
don't tell them too much information.
Oh, no. But a lot of my friends, I think they listen. And actually, one of my cousins, I helped her out the other day, and she said to me, oh, because you're always telling me about this business and that business, I think she actually switched off. And so she basically said that, and I told her, look, I can help you release whatever it is you've got going on. She didn't take no notice. But this day she phoned me up, and I said, just try this. She was blown out of the water, and she said, oh my God, all that time you've been telling me and I didn't listen. So anyway, I went to a retreat. I spent 5 days in Spain doing this inner work. This lady, she done hypnosis. We've done some inner child work. Loads of stuff, basically, to get back in touch with my subconscious, to find out what I was holding on to and what was keeping me in that position. And like I said, I had a lot of emotional pain to do with family trauma. I was a wreck. The first day, I cried so much. I didn't even realise that one person could cry that much. Because I just released, I was releasing and shedding and just purging. And at the end of those 5 days, I was like, wow. Now, bearing in mind, I was one of those skeptics as well, that you can't hypnotise me.
Yeah.
Because I will not let you hypnotise me. You're not going to do that to me. You're not going to have me walking backwards and doing all kind of foolishness, right? So when she actually tried to hypnotise me, I wasn't having none of it. And she said to me, do you want to heal or not? Do you want to get rid of this problem? And I said, of course I do. And she said to me, well, the only way it's going to work is that you have to let go of what you're holding on to and just allow the process to happen. But I don't know how to do that. And then she said, look, just close your eyes. And then she basically asked me again, would I allow her to work with me? And am I just going to just go with the process? So what I had to do then, I just used my imagination, because she was asking me questions like, I'm thinking like, how the hell am I going to know that? Like she said, oh, if you was at a certain age, if it was before birth, after birth, how am I going to know before birth? I wasn't even born. Like, what kind of foolishness are you asking me? Do you know what I mean? So, and it was questions like that I could no way of knowing those answers. So then she said to me, look, just let your subconscious do the work. I said, fine. I lay there, and then she asked me again. And I'm telling her, for example, it was in the womb. And all these things that are coming out of my mouth, I'm like, well, how would I know that? You know? So anyway, from that experience, I came back, and my daughter was doing a lot of meditation and stuff like that as well. And then I said to her, do you know what? I'm going to learn this hypnotherapy. Because now I know how I can help people. Now I know what was keeping me stuck, what was stopping me from moving forward in my business. Because I had blockages. I had a lot of self-doubt, low worth, I'm not good enough. All those things that we pick up from the ages between, even in the womb, 0 to 7. Most people say 0 to 7. We're programmed. Your parents are telling you you're stupid. Your teachers are telling you you're stupid. Your friends are laughing at you. All these things stay and they lock inside your body.
Energy.
So I don't know if you noticed that you may get triggered by certain things. So for me, for example, when my dad died, Dance with My Father.
Mm.
That could not play.
Oh,
Every
God.
time that played, it's like it rang that bell and the tears started coming down.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? So what happens is the mind locks onto things. So whatever traumatic experience you've gone through, whether it's a good experience, our brains is like a computer, right? And there's different levels. You've got the superconscious, subconscious, and you've got the conscious mind, right? And they all play different parts in our body. When people ask you a question, and you know the answer because you've said it time and time again, but sometimes it can't come to the tip of your tongue. The first thing that comes to your mind, that's the subconscious, because the subconscious always knows the answer and the subconscious is always right. Yeah? But a lot of the time, we don't go with the first answer that comes to us. We always overthink it. And that's your conscious mind that's thinking. Right? So what happens is, we then start telling ourselves stories, we tell ourselves things, and then we believe it. But that's where things like the low self-worth, I'm not good enough, I'm stupid, I can't do anything right. Because people have told us that, and we've conditioned ourselves that is the case. Right? So the work that I do a form of energy psychology. So I've trained in many different modalities. Modalities are the various types of healing that you can do. So massage therapy is a modality. So yeah, I came back and I did hypnotherapy. I studied hypnotherapy and I got my certificate. But then it just opened up more doors for me. I'm just so intrigued how the mind works. So I just want to learn more and more and more. So I went and I did tapping, which is also known as the emotional freedom technique. And then tapping works on your meridian points. So it's like the same points as acupuncture. And so what you're doing is by tapping on certain points, you're releasing the pressure and the blood flow. And so by doing that and saying like a mantra, it helps to release whatever is trapped inside the body. But that still wasn't good enough for me. So I then fell into this thing called the emotion code. And the emotion code was created by a guy called Bradley Nelson. He's a chiropractor. So basically, he's come up with 60 emotions that can get trapped in your body. And he found that by using a magnet and by using a system called muscle testing, he was able to speak to the subconscious mind and ask what it was that was causing that particular issue. And I love that one because it's non-invasive. I don't really need to know much about you. And I can release whatever trapped emotions that you've got going on to free you up. Just by using my magnet, and what I use is a pendulum. So when I'm doing work, I can work with people like yourself. I did work with you over Zoom. I don't actually have to have you face to face. Because once I connect with you, then I can connect to the subconscious. I ask the subconscious what is causing that problem, and then we release the trapped emotion. So then I got into some more work because I'm also NLP trained, and like I said, I just do different trainings and then have different mentors and stuff. And so I've learned to do a thing called somatic healing. Which is what I did with you, which was one of the ones that I did with you. And the guy that I follow is David Snyder, and he says, if you can feel it in your body and you can point to it, then you can heal it. Because all emotions, whether good or bad, are stored in our body. So if you remember what I did with you, I said to you, what was it that you was thinking of? And then if you could point to it in your body, and I said to you, what colour would you give it? So the negative energy, you give it a colour. And then we wipe out the negative energy with a strong positive energy colour. And so, because your mind is doing the work, your mind is able to now erase that negative energy, which was, we used the colour. And then when we finished, you no longer felt it in your body. Because your mind was doing the work that it needed to do to process that emotion through your body. And that's it.
So where do you get your referrals from?
So, like yourself, word of mouth, and I appreciate you sending that lady to me. I'm in the process of building out my Instagram page, and I've got my website, which has kind of been put on hold, because every time I wanted to launch, there was something I had to deal with, like my mum passed away, so I had all that stuff to deal with. Then I started to get back on the horse again, then my husband passed away, so I got all that to deal with. So now it's my time now, and to focus on me, focus on my business. So yeah, a lot of it is word of mouth. Is where I get the referrals from.
So what type of emotions do you mainly deal with?
Anything, because, well, with the emotion code, like I told you, there's 60 emotions. That's the basic ones. There's 60 emotions on there. And they're just stuff that we deal with everyday life, right? So it could range from abandonment. And what I'm able to do is I'm able to pick up, if the subconscious wants me to, because I would ask, what information do I need to know? It will tell me what the trapped emotion is. Then I can find out, what age was this? Do I need to know how deep it is, how many layers it is? What type of abandonment is it? Because you've got all different categories stored in the subconscious. So lately, a lot of the work that I've been doing, I've actually been dealing with quite a few relationship breakups, which has then caused a lot of anxiety, a lot of trauma, a lot of emotional pain. But anxiety seems to be a big one. I had somebody who was doing their degree, so they had their exams. So they had worked themselves up into a frenzy, breaking out in rash, trying to revise. And I said to her, look, let me just help you. So I call it taking the sting out of the situation, right? I'm not going to profess that the lady that you sent to me yesterday, after you gave her that glowing reference, I think she thought I was going to wave my magic wand and send her on her way. And I was like, ooh, that's a bit of a big one.
No, that situation is going to take a couple of sessions, or more than a couple of sessions.
And that's what I said to her. So, and that's the thing. So
Rome wasn't built in a day.
Exactly. And the thing is, if you've got an issue and it's been built up over years, one session will not release all that.
Not at all.
Because you store things in your body in layers. So I could have just taken the top of it off, but there's going to be still stuff that's buried. So once you start working on yourself, it's not a thing that I've done it once, because what you find will happen is, say I worked on rejection, right? And the rejection was clear. Then maybe a year down the line, you might get triggered again. Maybe not as much as, but you could get triggered again. You're going to say, oh, I thought she said she cleared that. No, I cleared that layer. Do you know what I mean? So the more you work on yourself, the more you will start unraveling all the stuff that is trapped and all the stuff that have been keeping you prisoner, really.
Leading on. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, so I was going to say, so that is basically how it works. So energy work can be used for anything. I don't know if the viewers, they may have seen, like, not GMTV, this morning, they've got the husband and wife team on there. And they do, like,
Speedmans.
fear of, the Spillmans, that's right. They do fear of stuff. And you see how they're able to get the people. And I bet a lot of people think that's not real. How can that just work that quick? But Juliet, how long was I with you?
Not long. How long? What? 10 minutes?
one of the sessions, one of the things that we did, it could be about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. So we did about 3-4 different things. So within an hour, I can kind of set you free and help you to get on your way. But it doesn't mean that everything is healed.
Exactly.
You know? And I just kind of want to put that out there. Yeah, you wanted to ask me a question?
I did. I was going to say, leading on from my previous question, what sort of emotions would you not deal with? Or is there nothing you wouldn't touch upon?
Sometimes it's about the person as well. So there has to be a connection. So before I do any work, I always ask if it's okay for me to connect with that person, because maybe the energies may not be aligned. There's some people that you can work with, and they say that they want to do the work, but they won't do the work. And again, like myself, I wouldn't allow the process to happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're not ready. So I don't know if you may have seen some people where they've got an issue and you give them advice after advice after advice after advice, and they do the same thing over and over again.
No.
It's not their fault.
They're just not ready for it.
And it's not only that. Sometimes they're holding on to something called secondary gain. And if the subconscious is not ready to let go of certain things, especially if it's been buried for a long time, the subconscious thinks that it's protecting you, right? We have fight or flight. And when we get into certain situations, we put up a barrier. So your subconscious says, oh, when this situation happens, this is what I need to do to protect myself. But because it's stuck in protection mode, it doesn't. So the gate is stuck. The gate is stuck shut. The gate can't be released. It won't release the gate. So you have to go back in there and ask it to release the gate, basically. You have to ask your subconscious permission to let things go. You know? So when people say to you, oh, just let it go. No, it's not that straightforward. No. So, so far, I've worked, like I said, I work with people. If I can work with them, I will. We'll do one session and see how it goes. But if we're not a match, then I'm not going to go any further. I'm not going to try and force the issue. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, if it's serious mental health, I'm not going to really dabble with serious mental health. Do you know what I mean? Like suicide or, you know.
Welcome back to the last segment of Spilling the Tea to Juliet-Gee on supremefmlive.ning.com. Yes, I got it right. Yay! You see, the power of the mind. I was determined to get it right. supremefm.ning.com. Hey! Anyway, I was been speaking to Michelle, who is an emotional practitioner. Yes, Michelle. Now, before we went to break, I wanted to ask you, how do you keep yourself emotionally okay, especially as you're invested in helping other people. How do you keep yourself sane?
Good question. Do you know something? I'm so privileged and I'm so grateful. I have my daughter. My daughter, like I said, she's a hypnotherapist herself, but she understands this type of work. And so sometimes if I've got stuff that is bothering me, she will help me to process that. And I've taught her how to do some of the energy work as well. So she will do some of that work with me. But yeah, sometimes it's about well-being as well, isn't it? I do protect myself. I have a shield that I protect myself with so that I'm not sucking up other people's energy. So that's really important. And then when we're working with people, you know, I connect with you, so I have to make sure that I've disconnected from you as well. Baths, soaks in the bath, relaxations, you know, just doing me and practicing some self-care is
Mm.
other ways of how I unwind and let things go. Yeah, so I do a lot of like releasing myself. Yeah.
So how did lockdown affect you mentally?
It hasn't, to be honest with you, because I tell everybody my life is locked down anyway. This is how I live my life, you know. So I'm not really one who goes out and about. So it was quite easy for me to adapt. And because I live between two countries, so I live between here and Florida. And I don't really have much friends in Florida. So I'm actually used to being on my own and just doing my own thing anyway. Most of my communication with friends would be via WhatsApp when I'm in the States, or by the phone. So it was kind of the same for me, really, to be honest with you. The only difference is that I'm nearer to my kids here. I moved from London, so now I'm nearer to my kids. So it's been easier to have that access with them. But obviously my friends, not so much. But like I said, I'm okay. I'm okay like that.
In all of this, who would you say are your biggest influences?
One of the people that I truly admire in terms of growth, actually there's two of them actually. One of them is Lisa Nichols. Like her story, where she's come from and how she's built herself up. That has truly inspired me. And the other one would be, I like Ayana.
What, Banzan?
Yes. Because she's quite brutal and she gets to the point. You know?
I love that lady.
And not everybody may agree with her,
no.
her stance.
Sometimes you just need to hear that from Auntie. You know?
Yes. I think she can be a bit brutal sometimes. But so those are the kind of things that I'm interested in. I'm interested in a lot of the sciences, like I said, the psychology and stuff like that. So a lot of my time is spent watching hypnotherapy stuff and, you know, learning stuff about the mind. Like I said, David Snyder, he's brilliant. I love him. So he's another one of the people that I look up to because of the way that he gets change, how he makes the changes with people. So, yeah, I think those are the main people for me, to be honest. People that are influential, that have been through the struggles themselves and dug themselves out the pit and are motivating others to make change for themselves.
Just one last question, which I know this came from a listener, and they had asked me to ask you, what qualifications would you need to become an emotional practitioner?
Well, I don't think there is such thing as an emotional practitioner. Because I actually created that myself. I call myself the emotions facilitator.
Okay.
And the reason being because that's what I do. I help people to facilitate their emotions. And because I live between the two countries, and in the States, you know, everything is all licenses and paperwork and legalities. I said to myself, well, I need to do something that I protect myself. So, i.e., if I was to call myself a therapist in the States, I would have to go and retrain. And then in order to have a business, I would have to get a business license and a license to practice. And so they're very strict. If you call yourself a practitioner, they're called protective names. So I thought if I call myself a facilitator, then nobody can't sue me or anything because I facilitate, and I'm not professing to be like a medical expert or anything like that. But what I would say in terms of learning how to do deep work, I would recommend you going to a reputable firm if you want to learn how to do NLP or hypnotherapy, EFT, any of those type of things. I would say go to somebody that has the qualifications that you can go and you can learn how to do these things. Some people do go on the internet and then they do these courses like on Udemy. But I think, me personally, because I've actually gone to people that are fully trained and they're masters and they've been doing it for years, you get the practical experience. And so you've got somebody to watch over you and to help you and guide you in what you're doing. So if you're working with somebody, you're working with one of your fellow colleagues and you're not able to release something, or say if you've hypnotized somebody but you're not able to get them out of the trance, at least you know you've got the master practitioner there that can guide you and tell you how to get out of certain situations.
Imagine.
You know? What's that?
Imagine if you'd hypnotise somebody and you couldn't get them out.
Well, as you say, that. I did actually have an experience where I was working with somebody and they actually got stuck.
They got stuck?
Yeah, in the sense that they were doing the process. And I did that one with you where you pull the picture through your body. So we got to that stage where they had processed the emotion and they'd released it to a certain degree. And they're trying, you know, when you try to make yourself better now and you're going to imagine that positive experience, they were pulling the picture through their body and their hands got stuck in the air. And it wouldn't move.
So what did you end up doing?
Well, I said to him, can you know, because I thought the screen had frozen, but he said no, his hands were actually stuck, and he couldn't go any further.
So was he kind of like having an out of body experience as well?
Well, he froze. So what it was is, like I said to you before, the mind was telling him he didn't want to. It's like your mind wants to trick you. Sometimes your mind doesn't want you to get better. So as much as you want to get better, I think the mind realised that, if I do this, I'm going to have a better outcome. And so it said, no, I want to stay here. I want to stay with this problem. So the hands were stuck in the air. And I had to then talk to the subconscious mind, and I had to coax it and tell him, when I count to 5, slowly bring your hands down. But I had to coax it. And then finally the hands came down. Yeah.
She's not a juju woman. She's not an obia woman.
So yeah, you have to understand what you're doing, because you can actually do damage. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's not something to play
around with. It's not for everybody.
Lightly. No, it's not something to play around with lightly. You know, and you have to know how to get people out of certain experiences and how to bring them back safely. So I suggest anybody who wants to do this type of work, go to somebody that's reputable, somebody that's got a good reputation, and they've got the certificates and the qualifications behind them.
Now, before I let you go, Michelle, is there anything that you would like to say or add?
You know me, I'm a giving soul, so I like to help people, and I don't like to see people that are stuck and that are suffering, and especially if I know that I can help them. And so, you know, like I said, right now I'm here. My business is mainly for women over 45.
But you deal with men as well.
I do deal with men as well, but what it is that because I knew that the situation I was in, and from the experiences that I've had, i.e., you know, the marriage breakups, the family traumas, feeling rejected. Maybe there's people out there that have been adopted, or they've not been brought up with their family, or they've got family issues and they want to resolve those issues. I said, I want to help those type of women. You know, there's also women like ourselves that are in a different stage in our lives where we're transitioning. Yeah. So
menopause.
Not only even the menopause. I mean, I was working with a lady the other day, and I didn't even think about this, and she said to me that her husband left her. That was one. The kids are of an age that they're about to fly the nest, so they're leaving her. Right? Menopause means that now her periods are leaving her, so everything is leaving her, and so that's making her feel less than. And I was like, wow, I didn't actually think about it like that.
Mm.
So we as women, we have a lot to deal with.
Yeah.
And so I felt that if I could help them to get themselves through those challenges, that's why I decided that I wanted to work with women over 45. Because when your kids fly the nest, you're left now, what am I going to do with myself? But you may not feel that you've got any skills or anything to bring to the table. So there's people that are struggling with that as well. What's my worth? What can I do now? You know? Broken relationship. Nobody's going to love me anymore. I'm not going to get another man. You know? So it's all about putting self-worth back into women, empowering them. Like I like to say, letting them soar to seek opportunities that they can aspire and rise. And just basically just release those shackles, you know?
And if people want to contact you, what are your social media handles?
My social media is the Emotions Facilitator. So Instagram, Facebook. I'm mainly more on Instagram now, but Instagram, Facebook is the Emotions Facilitator.
Brilliant. Excellent. Thank you so much, Michelle. And also I'd like to thank my previous guest, Denisha, for enlightening us on the importance of creating generational wealth and why it's important to change our mindset so that we leave a legacy for our children and children's children and family. Also, I'd like to say a massive thank you to my friend Michelle, who is not only good at what she does, she has even worked on someone whom I recently referred, as I said earlier on today, and I presume she's tuned in. And she has messaged me and given Michelle really good reviews. So I know that Rome wasn't built in a day, but you know what? As they say, a small drop makes a mighty ocean. So, Michelle, you know what your purpose is. So keep on doing what you're doing and keep up the good work, my dear. And we shall talk.
Thank you, Juliet, and I appreciate it. And I appreciate all the listeners that are listening right now. And, you know, if I can help any of you in any way, please feel free to contact me.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.